So you might be wondering, Carrie, where in the world are you right now? I am traveling. I'm actually in a different part of California. We're like right outside of LA, and I'm traveling for a Pentel event, which is tomorrow. I just got here, but since I have a little bit of time this evening before the sun sets, I figured I would film a travel journal video with me, because what better time to film a travel journal video than when I'm actually traveling. Also, I do plan on vlogging the event tomorrow so that you can see the behind the scenes of the event. Today, we will be getting into some travel journaling. Here's a little room tour so you can see the bed, and then there is a giant TV, little microwave, and this little desk area where I'm gonna be journaling. And then I also have a balcony. Ignore my tripod right there. That's where you guys were just a second ago. Got a view of the other building. Here's me. And then over here, there's another mirror right here. And then over here is the bathroom. Ta-da! How nice is this? There's a bathtub. I almost always journal at my desk at home, so it's really nice to just change it up a little bit. And I love that this hotel has a giant desk, which is perfect for spreading out all of my pens. I was tempted to try journaling out at the pool, which I might do still, but at least for filming right now, I feel like that takes a lot of bravery to take my tripod and my camera down to the pool by myself to journal. So maybe I'll do that when I'm not filming. So I got my journal, of course, wouldn't leave without it, especially because I'll be gone for a couple days, so I couldn't just leave my journal. And then of course, I brought my Pentel journaling packs. These are the two that we just recently launched. So this was the one in last week's video, the Stream of Consciousness journaling pack, and then this is the one that I'm going to be using today. Look at how cute. I'm so excited. I also haven't seen the setup for the event tomorrow, so I'm excited to see what that's going to look like. Also, it's crazy because I'm finally going to be meeting people from Pentel that I've been working with for years, and we've never met in person. We've only ever talked on Zoom. Let's get to journaling because I don't want the sun to set while I'm filming. Also, this goes without being said, but I just wanted to say a huge thank you to Pentel for sponsoring today's video. Obviously, we've been coming out with journaling packs, and if you're interested in checking out any of them, I have YouTube videos for all the ones that we've released, so I'll put the playlist down below as well as the Pentel website. You can go to pentel.com/CarrieWalker, but I'll also have it in the description down below. Some of them are also on Amazon, and we currently have a giveaway going on, so make sure to check out my Instagram for all those details. It's the post that looks like this. And then we also have journaling prompts on pentel.com/CarrieWalker. You have to scroll to the bottom. So if you go to the journal prompts number 7, that's the one for the travel journal pack. When it comes to travel journaling, I feel like there's a fine balance. Obviously, you want to be living in the moment in the travels and not be spending the entire time journaling. However, I also think that prioritizing some time to journal while you're actively traveling is huge, because that's when all of the memories are fresh, all the feelings are fresh, all the different things you're thinking about are so fresh, and also it's just so fun to journal in a different location. So you kind of have to look for the different times to journal. So right now is a great time for me to do so because I don't have anything planned for this evening. I have a bit of downtime, whereas tomorrow during the event, I'm not sure how much downtime I'm gonna have. So I'll keep my journal with me in my bag, and I'll probably journal tomorrow. Well, I'll definitely journal tomorrow, but if it's not throughout the day, then it'll be later in the evening before I go to bed. Oh, look at these stickers. I'm so excited to use these. I think this is one of my favorite sticker sheets, honestly. So this is my normal journaling pen that I always use, but the pack also comes with one. And then there's a bunch of different colors. So even though I have time right now, I also don't want to be taking up all my time journaling. So I'm going to be kind of quick with it. But if there's time on your trip, make the time. I am going to start out by just writing travel journal, because for my entry, I'm going to be talking about travel journaling rather than my literal travels currently. If you're doing your own journal entry, then you could just write out the location of where you are, and that could be kind of the start of your travel journal entries. But I will absolutely be journaling about my actual travels as they progress and afterwards. I used the colors to kind of write it in a rainbow order. I used this one to write out journaling in a little calligraphy font to kind of match this sticker here. I think I am going to do this same little dotted line. I'm going to use the 0.8 point liner. It's a little tricky going across the page here. Go up a little bit, take it straight off there. Now I need my little plain sticker, and I'll put it right there. I think also I do want to do a little drop shadow on the letters here to make them pop a little bit. I love this so much. I think this is so cute. Okay, so now I'm going to write out some different travel journal tips. I'm going to start out by writing the main thing with the different colors, and then I'll write like a little sentence of an explanation underneath. So for the first tip, I wrote right throughout the trip, not just after. And then underneath I wrote waiting until you get home means you could forget the details and you might push it off if there's a lot to say. This especially applies for trips that are decent in length. So for my trip, I'm only going to be gone a couple days, but even in those couple days, I feel like there's going to be a lot that I want to write about. Also, I daily journal, so of course I'm going to be journaling every day. But if you don't daily journal, it could be really easy to just not want to journal the entire time you're on a vacation or a trip. And if it's like a week or longer, then you're probably accumulating this laundry list of things that you want to write about. And then when you get home, you're going to be faced with so much to write about, and that's kind of overwhelming. The second tip is kind of building off of the first one, and it is to journal throughout the day. I think also I am going to alternate and write with the brown Pentel Energel pen. So for every tip, I'll probably go black, brown, black, brown. I wrote, utilize downtime to journal even for 5 minutes so that it doesn't pile up when you're exhausted at the end of the day before bed. Not only do you not want to wait until you get home to journal, but you also want to be careful with waiting until the end of the day to journal, because when you're traveling, especially if there's a time change, you're going to be so tired before you go to bed, and sitting down to write for 20-30 minutes could be a lot of work. You might just be like, I'll write about it tomorrow, and then that's how you get behind on the stuff that you want to write about. So if you have like 5 minutes while you're on a train, on a bus, maybe at lunch, in between different activities that you're doing, whatever it may be, you could just write little updates in your journal so that it doesn't pile up. For tip number 3, I'm going to use the red sign brush pen. Same little structure that I've been doing. And the third tip is to write while experiencing things. And then I am going to use the black Energel pen. I wrote journal at a cafe, at a scenic lookout, etc. Writing in the moment captures the memories into words. It's not always possible to do that. So like if you're going on a hike and you're sitting at the top of the mountain that you just hiked, you could take like 10 minutes to pull out your journal and write if you wanted to. It's really cool to be able to document your memories in real time as they're happening. And then your journal entry has a more active voice because you are literally writing about what you're doing currently rather than journaling after the fact and recounting what happened. Moving on throughout the rainbow, I'm going to write down tip number 4, and then I am going to use the brown Energel to write out the sentence underneath, since again I'm alternating between the black and the brown. So the fourth tip kind of builds off of number 3. While you're writing, while you're experiencing things, you also want to make sure that you capture the sensory details. Write what you see, hear, taste, smell, and feel. These details help you jump back in the moment when you read back on it. So write about what you ate for dinner, a new food that you got to try, the sounds around you, if it's super peaceful and quiet, if you hear a lot of hustle and bustle, just little sensory things that you can capture, so then when you read back on it, you're not just reading back on what you did, but you're also reminded of how it actually felt, how it smelled, what you saw, what you physically felt. I am obsessed with the hot air balloon sticker. Oh, I love it. And then I'll do a little earth sticker, and then I think I'm gonna do the explore and put that one right here. I can come back to stickers later, but let me write out the 5th tip. Reflect, don't just report. And what I mean by that is don't just write about what you did, write how it made you feel, what surprised you, what you learned, etc. So this is different than writing about the sensory details. The sensory details are obviously your senses. For this tip, it's about reflective journaling. It's not just writing, first we did this, then we did this, and then we did that, and then we were done. It's writing about your thoughts on the things that you did, and this is something that you can practice in your daily journaling as well. Oftentimes, I fall into the trap of just writing down what I did during the day, and I'm not really talking about my thoughts on it. Maybe while you're traveling, you have this revelation about something, about yourself or your life. So you could write about that and how that made you feel, or how you came to realize it, rather than just writing the objective things that you did. Number 6, I wrote take quick notes, voice memos, or pictures. If you're short on time, jot down bullet points or phrases to expand on later, or use voice memos or pictures to jog your memory for writing later. So basically, if you're busy, which we all get, especially while we're traveling, just write down some bullet points or phrases of what you did, how you felt, what you were experiencing, because then you can write about it later and you're less likely to forget about the details that you wanted to write. And if you do end up pushing it off and never writing about it, you at least have the bullet points written down. If you can't bring your journal with you for whatever reason and you're able to have your phone, you could record a little voice memo of just some things that you wanted to remember. Or I love taking pictures. Obviously, I take pictures and videos when I'm going on a vacation or a trip just because I like having those too on top of my journal entries. But what's nice about pictures and videos is that they have timestamps on your phone. And so then when you're going to journal, you can look back at the pictures to jog your memory on what you did. And there are timestamps of when you did those things. So it's a lot easier to kind of remember the timeline of your trip. All right, number 7, we're gonna use blue. This tip is probably gonna be a lot of people's favorite tip, and it is to tape in little mementos. I need to use my black Angel pen. Tickets, receipts, pressed flowers, postcards, pictures, stickers, physical things turn your journal entry into a really cool time capsule. I love taping things into my journal entry. If you have a plane ticket, if you have a movie ticket, obviously I'm putting stickers in my journal currently, but if you accumulate any other stickers from your travels, you could put that in there. Postcards are really cool. Pictures as well. Pictures are a little bit trickier in the moment while you're traveling, but you could always get pictures developed after the fact and then have like a little catch-up journal entry to then have the pictures and show images of what you did. And then we have one more tip. Number 8 is to date every entry. And I know what you're thinking. You're probably like, Carrie, what the heck? You didn't even date your own entry. I know. You best believe I will be writing my own journal entry for the day with the date and the time. This is just a little visual of how to travel journal. Some of you guys have told me, oh, I don't date my journal entries because I'll just remember when it was. I'm never gonna forget this trip of a lifetime or this amazing thing that happened in my life. I'm just not gonna put the date. I'm not gonna worry about it. But trust me, put the date, because what if you forget? Or what if you're passing your journal down to somebody, a kid, a friend, whoever, and then they don't know when it was if you didn't put the date or the time. Okay, now I'm just going to use these little location stickers, or whatever you want to call them, the little pins, and I'm gonna put them, I think like here, like right after each of them. Okay, I actually am kind of wishing I put it at the front. Okay, and then I'm going to do some more of this little dashed line detailing. I'll put a map sticker there. I'll do a little paper airplane here too. And then I think I'll leave it at that. So this is what the final journal entry looks like. Also, if you're actually traveling, you could still use this format layout as like an idea of how to structure your own travel journal entry. But instead of obviously the tips, you would write maybe something you did or a location or your thoughts on the experience or whatever it may be. Anyway, the sun is almost fully set now, so that was good timing. And some of the other people are here now. So I think we're all gonna get together and meet each other before tomorrow. So make sure to get the travel journal pack if you're interested, as well as any of the other journaling packs that are on pentel.com/CarrieWalker, as well as Amazon. The links will all be in the description down below. Thank you again to Pentel for sponsoring today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye guys.